On July 16, 2025, a photo of this haunting-looking gate was shared on Reddit, posted on the subreddit r/weird under the title "Abandoned Torii Gate Found at the End of a Tunnel," and within hours, the post went viral across the subreddit. The user didn't explain the photo's backstory, but just by looking at it, it gave off a horror vibe. Some joked about how every Japanese horror movie starts exactly like this, while on the other hand, a few users warned about the gate and told people to stay away from it. One highly upvoted reply explained that in Shinto belief, which is Japan's native religion, a torii gate marks the boundary between our world and the spirit realm. They said that when placed in a strange, dead-end tunnel, it isn't there to invite you in, rather it's a barrier meant to keep something away. So far, the idea of keeping away spirits or supernatural beings has become the most popular theory. However, none of this was certain. For me, the question was, where was this gate exactly, and how did the original poster end up finding it? So since I am at my peak unemployment, I discovered that the image everyone was making theories about was actually captured 3 years back in 2022 by a Japanese urban explorer and photographer, Saho, who stumbled upon this cave in Kani City. But the shrine wasn't the only thing he found in that cave. There were rusted fixtures and even an abandoned truck inside. However, the mystery still remains about why it was placed in a cave like this. For context, torii gates are one of Japan's most iconic spiritual symbols. They are usually placed at the entrances of shrines and can be found all over the country. And after doing some more research, I found that this specific torii gate was inside the Amagamin Achobo Inari Shrine in Kani City. And it turns out, this gate wasn't cursed at all. It was used as a centerpiece for a cultural festival held inside the cave every year in Kani City. But in 2016, due to an increase in flooding in the area, the cave festival was shut down and the torii gate was simply left behind in that cave, which has been standing there ever since. On June 17, 2024, a user named Brittle Knight posted at r/RBI with a caption, "Is there a Sarah missing?" In the post, Brittle Knight told that it was the story of their friend, a Target employee somewhere, who had received an envelope at work about a week earlier. It was postmarked Atlanta, and inside it was a handwritten letter and 2 photographs. It mentioned a woman named Sarah and referenced the Hiwassee River, a place that is more than 12 hours away from where the letter was mailed. One of the photographs was of a red car, and the other was of a pair of boomerang Speedo goggles for swimming, while both photos have 2 large lines drawn on the back. This seemed like a possible abduction attempt of the girl mentioned in the letter. OP's friend took the letter seriously and reported it to their local police, but the police didn't seem to take it seriously and asked them to just send over the digital photos and throw the originals away. As the post received attention, other subredditors did what they could do best and started to guess what this letter could mean. One person suggested that the 2 lines at the back of the photos could just be covering up information with a marker, as he remembered that while getting pictures developed, there would usually be a couple of printed lines on the back which included dates, location, and maybe even time. Another user, who claimed to live near Hiwassee River, said that nothing out of the ordinary had been found there and that the whole thing felt like a child had written it. As time passed, the thread started to lose attention, but then on November 27th, a different user posted on r/ciphers under the title "Cryptic Letter Sent to the Store." She posted an image showing that she had received a similar letter. The user asked if this letter is some kind of code because they matched the letter with the one posted in an earlier thread and noticed that it's the same, but some details, like the name and river, had been changed. Like in the previous letter, the girl mentioned was Sarah, but in this letter, the girl mentioned was Avery and referenced the Skokomish River instead. They also noticed that the letter is handwritten because letters like G and Y overlap differently in each word. A couple months went by, and again a new letter showed up at a different Target store. On March 19th, user Madam Webb posted, "Weird letter in the mail." This time, another Target employee received a nearly identical envelope. It was also postmarked Atlanta, like earlier. There were the same 2 photos with 2 lines drawn at the back. same writing and details, but this time it mentioned the first girl's name, Sarah, but it had a different river name, Susquehanna River. The user wondered if the sender was simply picking random target locations and changing the details to fit different regions, while some wondered if the letter was a secret code or a confession hidden in riddles. On May 2nd, 2025, a different user posted to r/weird again, sharing that yet another target location in central Minnesota had received the same envelope. This version also had the same two photos, a red car and a pair of swimming goggles, both with the two lines drawn on the back. But were they just lines, or were they hiding a secret underneath? This time, the OP confirmed that they tried to scrub the ink off to see if anything was hidden underneath, but they found nothing. And again, almost all the details were the same, except the name of the girl mentioned was Ashley, and it referenced a lake named Cabatagoma. One user commented that their store received almost the same letter a couple of years ago. However, this letter contains only one similar photo of swimming goggles, while the other photo is of a store display of swimsuits. The letter also mentioned a different girl named Stephanie and a different river named the Tuckasegee River. There is another exception, that this letter also mentions an abandoned ice cream truck. Finally, the same user, aka Smoke and Pepperoni, returned to r/RBI on May 2nd, 2025. He combined all the earlier letters to show a similar pattern and connection between all the letters. They figured that all the letters are the same except for the girl's name and the mentioned locations. There is no return address on it, and all are postmarked in Atlanta, with so many letters all following the same pattern. One user mentioned that these letters might be an ARG. Now, ARGs are a type of real-life game, but not an app or an online video game. They are like puzzles or stories spread in real life or online to get people involved into solving clues, and in some cases, it is a marketing stunt. And in this case, the letters, different names, different rivers, and photos were all part of a puzzle meant to confuse or entertain people. And in my opinion, this makes the most sense because no incidents were reported around those locations regarding these details, and most of the accounts seem to only have this single post. While the letters looked scary, they were probably just a prank rather than something truly dangerous. On May 27th, 2024, a user posted on r/paranormal. This photo has been keeping me up at night for over a decade. The thread immediately caught people's attention, not because it was dramatic, but because of the way the story was told. According to the user, the photo in question was taken in 2012, right after they graduated from high school. Their family had gone on a summer camping trip somewhere north of Truckee, California. Along the way, the user was using a small Sony CyberShot camera to snap pictures of nature and cool-looking structures. One of those pictures was of a rundown barn they had spotted near the road. At the time, everything seemed normal, just a quick roadside photo, but when the user returned home and looked through their photos, one of them stood out. A weird, human-like figure, slightly hunched, was standing upright in the field like something or someone was lurking near the barn. The image wasn't high resolution, and the user admitted that the original file was long gone, and the only version they had left was saved from an old Facebook post. Hundreds of users were trying to figure out what the figure actually was. At first, the ideas were harmless. It could be pareidolia, that strange trick of the mind where your brain wants to see faces and figures even when they're not there. But the more people zoomed in, the stranger it became. Like you could see this figure frozen mid-move and a face just barely showing out from the shadows. While everyone was throwing out guesses, one of them tracked down the actual location of the barn. Using the original post's unclear description, he searched Google Street View around Truckee, California, and remarkably, he found it. According to him, he can't see anything in the street view that looks like the image posted by OP. He also added that perhaps someone with a keener eye can spot it. Therefore, to finally put my curiosity to rest, I typed the coordinates into Google Maps and decided to look for it myself. I saw the same barn, crooked trees, open field, and even angle matched the photo. Then I zoomed in and saw two wooden posts standing where the legs had been. From that one angle, those wooden posts lined up to look like a person. It wasn't a ghost or anything watching from the fields, it was just a signpost, and that's how the mystery is solved. On July 29th, 2024, a strange post appeared on r/paranormal encounters. Weird object knocks out a man. It was a video in which a man had been knocked unconscious by what appeared to be a fast, unexplainable object. According to the uploader, the man fell down the stairs and later received 24 stitches at the hospital. They also insisted it wasn't an animal. The post ends with the question, "What do you guys think?" The video itself was only 33 seconds long. In it, a man walks inside the apartment. Within seconds, there's a sharp flicker of movement in the frame, and the man suddenly collapses backward, as if he'd been struck by something no one can see. There's no visible attacker, no thrown object, just a blur and an instant reaction. While some viewers noted strange light reflections near the vehicle, most were confused. One user in the comments said the dot grows big as it moves across the screen and then hits the man. I had to check it myself. And yeah, watching it frame by frame, it does look like something strange is happening. Even the OP replied and said, "That is a good catch," but not everyone was convinced. One user pointed out that if something really hit the man, he'd have fallen into the house, not out of it. They wrote, "It's just incredible timing, and in my opinion, it's the only thing that actually makes sense here." In fact, when you slow the footage down, you can clearly see a small bug flying directly in front of the camera lens. The object appears large only because it's extremely close to the lens, creating an illusion of size and speed. That's it. There's no ghost or invisible attacker. It's just a perfectly timed accident. To simplify the mystery, a bug flew past the security camera at the same moment the man tripped or lost his balance. It looks paranormal, but in the end, it's completely ordinary. On May 26, 2024, a Reddit user, Big Bad Chief, shared a discovery from his stay in a Spanish Airbnb. He found a small, round black device mounted on the wall with a blinking light and a moving ball at its center. It looked more like a camera looking right at you. One user replied and called it the worst hidden camera in the world, and honestly, I couldn't help but agree. If someone wanted to spy, why leave a device so obvious and out in the open? Some even suggested he should test it using his phone's camera to detect IR light, or suspected it was a motion sensor. Some suggested reaching out to the Airbnb host for answers, but others quickly shot that down by saying that the host will just lie if it's anything shady. But the OP decided to message the Airbnb host directly. The answer was, it's a temperature sensor connected to the air conditioner. He double-checked, and there was no camera, no recording. It was just a piece of smart home tech. So the only thing that we learned from this specific case is that I am unemployed. But jokes aside, 50% of the internet is nonsense, so don't believe everything you read on it.